So in everything we saw there, at the very end, you heard Shaq talk about the impact of having a big man down low. Missing guys like him in the game, is that a detriment to some of these teams to have so many big men shooting these outside shots?
I think it is. And the reason why I think so is because, you know, what made our game great and what continues to make it great is the diversity in play. You had diverse styles. You had people who can do different things. And when you look at the big man today, the big man out on the perimeter actually gives the small guys a huge advantage, because a 7-footer having to play out here, you know, gives me as a smaller guy a big advantage to guard a 7-footer out here. Or if that 7-footer has to guard a smaller player out here, the smaller guy has all the space. So there's more smaller guys in the NBA right now. And you heard Mike Conley say, oh, yeah, we get all this space because all the big people are out there. But if the big people are allowed to use their physicality again, right, and they get to play like big people as opposed to having to play like small people, I think that makes our game much more interesting. Although you can get a three-point shot from out here and it looks great and everything else, I think the bigs right now are at such a huge disadvantage that the game really favors the small, quick players. But we should allow the big guys like Shaq to come back into our game and use their physicality. And we as small people have to learn to deal with that physicality, because right now the bigs have been eliminated and brought out to the perimeter.
Sam, here's a question for you. How many three-pointers a game do you think DeMarcus Cousins is averaging this season? Attempts.
I guarantee you it's anywhere from 5 to 7. Easy.
Yeah, 6.6.
And to piggyback on what Isaiah said, look, I don't have a problem with the big guys. I had the opportunity to coach Karl Anthony Towns and Chris Bosh. Those guys can step out. But I used to always remind them, that's fine to do that, but at the end of the day, you're going to win the game for those guys getting in their paint. And so I would say this. I love the evolution of the game for the big guys. They can shoot threes, but when you look at guys like DeMarcus Cousins, Karl Anthony Towns, Joel Embiid, those guys can play outside, but they can also play inside. And the thing about it, you always remind your bigs, look, when DeMarcus Cousins, I'm using him as an example because he's a dominant big guy, when he's out there shooting threes, even though he can make them, guess what he's not doing? He's not causing a double team in the paint. He's not hurting me on the offensive glass. He's not doing any of those things.
He's not fouling people out.
Absolutely. So he's not getting me in foul trouble, which put my team in the bonus. So if DeMarcus Cousins early in the game want to step out there and shoot a few threes, I'm going to encourage that, because when he gets 15 feet in, that's when he puts so much pressure on my entire team. So I would give him a couple of three-point shots early in the game, rather than have him go down the post, because he's going to put my best big man on the bench in foul trouble if he go in the paint. So, again, I like the contrast, but I like today's big guys who can go out, but also when you switch the big little guys on them, they can take them inside.